Hurry, you don't want to miss it. It's coming up quickly. Very soon, in fact. Power Talk. Hosted by our very own Adrienne. We're live, Jean.
Well, good morning. Happy Monday. And oh boy, we are almost through Mercury retrograde. We are 2/3 of the way there. And I hope it's getting more peaceful for each of you and less intense. It feels that way for me. So welcome to Power Talk. I am so thrilled that you have chosen to spend a little bit of your Monday morning with me here. And I've got a great show for you today. My guest today is Danielle Rama Hoffman. She is an author, she's a teacher, and she is the scribe for the Ascended Master Thoth. Did I pronounce that right, Danielle?
There are several ways of pronouncing it, and yes, Thoth is a good one.
Okay. And, you know, I've had her as my guest on other shows with her first two books. She's an expert on Egypt and on the pantheon of the Egyptian deities, and specifically Thoth. And this new book just has knocked my socks off. I mean, I'm getting chills as I talk to you about it, because it is a book of activations. I mean, it is, whew, yeah. And I'm going to let you tell everybody more about that. So welcome, Danielle.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. And hello, everyone. I'm delighted to be here and excited to explore more about unity consciousness together.
Absolutely. And viewers, Danielle's website is divinetransmissions.com. If you want to go find out more about her, you can do that there. And the book is The Tablets of Light. You can get that on Amazon. And you will be changed. That's all I can say. You will be changed, and changed in a good way. So, Danielle, there may be viewers who are not familiar with Thoth. So can we start off by having you, let's create a baseline and tell everybody who Thoth is and how you became his scribe, how you met him.
Yes, well, he's most associated with the Egyptian god, Thoth or Thoth, Jehudi. So there's many different ways of pronouncing his name. And he's the keeper of the Akashic records, a lunar god, so often also associated with serving the divine feminine or contributing to the divine feminine, scribe, architect, healer, medicine. So that entry point into infinite knowledge really crosses into different areas of ascended mastery. And I liked how you talked about him as an ascended master, because sometimes I think that for us, when we have gifts and talents, we think that it's in one area, and really ascended mastery can be happening in multiple areas, which I think he's a good example of. And for me personally, my first reintroduction to Thoth or Thoth was in, I think it might have been I'm trying to remember, maybe 1996 or 7 or something like that. I took a workshop with Nikki Scully on Sekhmet, the lioness goddess, and then got reintroduced to the pantheon, and in 2002 got transmission into the lineage of Thoth. And since then have really been connecting with him as friend, mentor, partner, and co-creating, bringing in these bodies of work directly with him. So he's amazing, my main squeeze, and I'm excited for other people to experience him and go deeper as called.
Now, how does your husband Friedman feel about that?
He loves it. He's open.
Okay.
He loves,
good. So you have an open marriage.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, it'd be pretty hard to compete with one of the unseens, you know. Okay, so let's get back to grounded. I think maybe the first way that I heard of Thoth, and maybe a lot of people, it was through the emerald tablets, because he's the one that brought those through, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes.
So he's into these tablets thing, huh?
And as above, so below, as within, so without, from the Emerald Tablets is one of the most familiar.
Yeah, and one of the most profound, and maybe the base of truth, you know. But this new book is called The Tablets of Light, and it's way different than your other two books.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about this, and what was his purpose in bringing through the Tablets of Light and bringing them in now?
Yes. Well, it is all about teachings of unity consciousness, and that, as you talk about it being different from the other books, one of the things that stands out to me about this book as well is that there really is, like, each individual tablet is entering into a temple in and of itself. And even though there is a beginning, a middle, and an end, really each tablet stands on its own and then also amplifies the others. So I think that the way that it was scribed was also in union, or more spherical, more nonlinear, or beyond time and space. And that the purpose is really to activate those that are calling to and have an oracular vision, for example, that that you carry, to be bringing that forward for a shift in consciousness from separation, lack, fear, doubt, worry, into unity, collaboration, love, abundance. And even though it is a journey of words, it's really a vibrational journey into divine wholeness. So that's a little bit about it. And yeah, it's really an extraordinary time. I think that's also the purpose, as you're alluding to the time.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, and I think we're just standing on the precipice of a huge, incredible shift. And I feel like that the frequencies in this book really help to get us to that place where, kind of like the zero card in the tarot, which Thoth is responsible for that, that we're ready to step off and allow ourselves to be supported as we move. Oh God, I'm in channel right now because the tears are starting to flow. So he's talking to me too. Okay, thank you very much. So one of the things that really stood out for me about your book is that so many people today are talking about unity consciousness, and that's where we're moving in this fifth dimensional, in this new energy. And they're talking about it as outside themselves, as unity between me and you, or me and them, or us and them, or whatever. But really what I was getting from this book is that, like, as above, so below, as within, so without, it has to start inside ourselves. And we have to be in union with who we really are, with our true self, in order for that to manifest in the outer world. And that's huge to me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, and that it is on the subject of energy and consciousness, and that a lot of the teachings, as you're talking about, are about our internal landscape, and having even greater consciousness of our internal landscape, so that unity consciousness can be there regardless of what's happening outside. And you know, one of the topics in the book that comes to me is about this vibrational autonomy. And having vibrational autonomy really is a key to that individualized oneness, that we're able to be vibrating strongly in our unique signature energies and in our unique frequency and vibration, and as such then also be in communion or in connection with others in their unique frequency and vibration. So the encouragement of the tablets of light is really to be the difference of who we are, and to shift out of that kind of one size fits all to being our unique selves, to being our brilliance, and also including the slower vibrations or that which we may not prefer about ourselves into the wholeness as rocket fuel for the evolution in consciousness. So I think that especially now, being able to have vibrational autonomy, where we don't merge with everything around us and then become it, is an incredible gift to this time. And sometimes Thoth and the Council of Light speak about it like the solar system, that the sun is the sun and the moon is the moon and Jupiter is Jupiter and Venus is Venus, and that we're each in our own orbits, and we each have universal principles that really nourish and support us. And the more that we can be, if we're the sun, be the sun and not try to be Jupiter or Saturn or something else, then the greater ease and grace this shift in consciousness can be. And at the same time, there is a lot of infrastructures from separation consciousness that can be disintegrated or de-identified with or included back in the wholeness, back in the oneness, because it's almost like water that goes into the path of least resistance. In my experience, it's been a retraining, and that it's natural to go back into separation consciousness, especially as we raise our vibration, and yet to have that, if it's your choice, to have it be the primary choice to be who it is that we are as source, with source, and then leading from that energy and frequency and vibration.
Absolutely. And that particular chapter or that particular tablet was huge for me because, it's one of my primary life lessons in this lifetime, is learning to define what is my uniqueness and what is everybody else's uniqueness, and not to negate other people's uniqueness and not to negate mine, which has been the big mistake that I have made, for many, many years. And so to have it explained in the way that he explains it really helps a lot. And it truly is about choice. I mean, I think choice is the big word for all of this new energy right now anyway, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, and there's a tablet of light about cosmic choice as well.
Exactly. Because, it's up to us in every moment to decide, because we are creators, and, we have to know who we are. And, and I think for a long time, we forgot that. And so that's part of, I guess, what his message is to bring that back up to the forefront for each of us to claim our divinity.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So how can we awaken these inner divinity codes so that we can live as divine incarnate that we are?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes. Well, I loved how you positioned that question, because it is simultaneously innate, or that there are these origin source codes that we have within us, whether we look at that from the level of the Akashic records or the level of our inner library of the DNA. And so it's a matter of activating or remembering, turning on, and that is also an indication of evolution. That evolution is that outgrowing of something that was necessary that's no longer necessary, and then that going from active to dormant, and then that which is dormant moving into active. And so to me, one of the primary ways that we can do that is environment. And that's one of the things that I love about connecting with Thoth, with beings of light, in light, such as Thoth and the Council of Light, and then also other beings of light incarnate, such as us that are walking on the Earth Star at this time, is being in an environment of divine partnership. And for me, one of my life lessons was really, and continues to be in various ways, is really that sense of giving away power, or that sense of the old paradigm of a hierarchy in relationships of power under, power over, all of that. And so I think entering into a divine partnership with Source, whatever that means for each individual, whether that's the higher self or connecting with the being of light like Thoth, or directly with God, Goddess, Great Spirit, all that there is, the divine within, the divine without, creates that environment where we can activate and remember our divine selves. And that's one of the great gifts that I've received, and I see others as well that choose to be in divine partnership with Thoth, is that there's that divine partnership of eye to eye, peer to peer, being of light to being of light. And where at times it may in the past have been fuzzy of like, what's mine, what's yours, what's ours, I always find with Thoth that it's very clear that they never cross that free will conscious choice, that there's always an invitation to step up into our totality, into our multidimensionality. So I would say environment and energy and consciousness is really the way that we can do that. And although that may seem a bit ephemeral or nebulous to some, really it's a relief to others of like, oh yeah, energy and consciousness. I know how to do energy and consciousness. That's an easier answer than maybe some other ways that we may have tried in the past.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, and it is, I think, it is to me anyway, because, I do believe that everything is energy. And I think one of the beautiful things that both Thoth and the other guides, whoever you listen to, is that they always ask you first, is this something you want to receive? And man, if you're listening to somebody who tells you, this is how it's got to be, you may want to step back. And, because the ones that I listened to in the past, they always give me a choice, and I can say no if I want to. If I'm not ready, I have that ability to say, not yet, or yeah, bring it on, give it to me. And, so that's a huge piece, I think, for people to be aware of, because we don't have to stay in that dogma where somebody preaches to us and tells us how it has to be. Now we can choose. And that's beautiful.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful invitation as well, to recognize that there may be overlays that we have that based on that hierarchy, and that we need an intercessor, we need a teacher or a priest to access source consciousness. And that really also with Thoth and beings of light, in my experience, they don't act as an intercessor. Perhaps there's a heightening of the vibration or a buoying of the environment, yet it's really about that turning on of what it is that we have inside of us. So I often hear as folks are choosing to connect through divine transmissions to Thoth and the Council of Light, that the Council of Light and Thoth also really clearly say that there may be those overlays that individuals are bringing into that relationship, and to just to be aware of that we may have patterns of wanting to please or approval seeking or those kinds of things as we begin to connect with guides, and that awareness that it doesn't work that way, that's really the equality, the eye-to-eye, peer-to-peer, being of light to being of light. And a lot of times, I'm very active in terms of my seeking guidance, and have really developed a practice of that. And a lot of times the team or the beings of light, they're waiting for me to express my preference, to lead, to direct, and then go from there. So it really is a relationship. It's an exchange.
Yeah. That's kind of a big nut for a lot of us to swallow, is that we could be important enough to be on an eye-to-eye basis with somebody that we consider to be a god, you know? Because I think that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that we all have that ascended master kind of tagged on the back of our name, or we wouldn't be here right now. We wouldn't be having this conversation, or you wouldn't be watching this TV show. You know, it's a big responsibility. I think we all, you know, cashed in a lot of our chips to be here to experience this huge shift into unity that we're going through right now. I mean, we've played that other game for 26,000 years, and it's time for this new piece to come in where we can have balance and joy and peace and love for ourselves first, and then for everybody else. So that's huge. So would you be open to sharing a divine transmission from Thoth for the people who are watching the show?
Yes.
Cool. Yay.
Perfect timing, because I was already feeling the energy shift.
Me too.
Yeah. So just inviting everyone to tune into your unique signature energy, entering into this conversation with choice, and from that stance of eye to eye, peer to peer, divine to divine. Hello, dear ones. It is I, Thoth, that is moving more into the forefront of this divine transmission. And what is coming through for this particular group that is and has gathered is the tablet of light of source light, and that you are the light of source consciousness, and that the word source means origin, and it also means divine, and that source is also a reconnecting with the infinite overflowing energy and consciousness of really going to the light of your source, and to be turning on, almost as if you can imagine that there is this inner panel within your being of turning on that source light that is you, for much of which you have been asking for, whether that is a shift in consciousness, peace of mind, relationships, abundance, whatever that is. Much of what you have been asking for is actually actualized with greater ease when your source light is amplified or is turned on. And that, as you may imagine, that there is this panel where you can turn on your source light within even more fully, that brings us into the Akashic records. That this conversation, you can imagine, is shifting venues to include being in the Akashic records, the records of your soul's incarnation, the records of all that there is, and the tablets of light, the emerald tablets, are also within the Akashic records. And that there's an invitation for you to, from the level of your source light, to put out the call for that tablet of light that is the most optimal for you to commune with or connect with at this time. One of the aspects of the Tablets of Light book that's spoken about is that you have a universal divine design, And you have a unique divine design, that you are source consciousness, that you are divine. And with that awareness, there are universal aspects to your divine design, and then also unique ones. So examples of universal is your capacity to know, is your capacity to intuit, is your capacity to be a creator. Your unique divine design has to do with that which you are here to be and do and express, those areas of ascended mastery that you have, that which is unique to you. And that there is a buoying of one and the other, regardless of which direction you go in. As you turn on and you share more of your unique divine design, it amplifies your universal divine design. And as you turn on and amplify more of your universal divine design, it amplifies and turns on more of your unique divine design. So there has been a lot that we have placed on the altar in this accelerated way, and there is the invitation to tune into a tablet of light that is coming forward for you to pick up off the altar if you choose. And as you're tuning into that, there's also the invitation to integrate that which has been expressed, and to, if you choose, become even more current with who it is that you are. So while that's continuing to happen, we're delighted to go in any direction that you're called. If there are any questions or reflections that would jumpstart this interactive conversation even more fully, then that is where we would go next.
I feel very grateful because, and I can't say this without crying, I was able to pick up a tablet. I don't totally know which one I picked up, but I trust that it will be integrated, and that for me personally, that I will step more into my own divine incarnate and continue to reflect and radiate that vibration out to the world. And so I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh boy, the tears are pouring now.
And just
I feel very blessed.
And just as you have modeled that the tears are one of your signals of what we would call the universal divine design, your knowingness, that it is like those truth tears for you. Right. And it is also your particular unique divine design because it's like your dictionary. And that for each of you that are tuning in, you naturally have ways of being that are like that, ways that you know that you are on the right path, ways that you know that you're following the energy and consciousness. And one of the tablets of light is also the evolution hologram that you can go into any aspect of your life. Like a hologram includes all that there is in each and every line, that any aspect of your life is an entry point into wholeness and into evolving. So we know that sometimes, especially in the consciousness community or the spiritual or metaphysical community, there can be this sense of an inner hierarchy as well, that this is higher than, or that is lower than, and it may even be unconscious, that one part of your life, like your meditation, is more important than another part of your life, like your health, or whatever those things are, those splits between the spiritual and material, the ways that you may have an inner hierarchy, that the evolution hologram really recognizes that you can go into any area of your life to evolve. And for some of you, that may mean perhaps that there's more evolution possible by bringing your awareness and your attention to that which you may not naturally be drawn to. And it may also be the deepening into what it is that you are drawn into. So that as above, so below, as within, so without really applies here. And that our invitation is, as much as possible, to include back into the ring of inclusion, is another tablet of light, anything that you may be holding separate, back into the oneness, back into the source from which it came, because there is that capacity to recognize that spiritual and material are truly one.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, wow, this has been huge. I feel, again, just like I did when I read the book, I feel uplifted and brighter and more centered and more focused. And so, viewers, I highly recommend this book. It's called Tablets of Light, and the author is Danielle Rama Hoffman, and her website is divinetransmissions.com. So thank you, Danielle, so much for joining us today all the way from France. And I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks when I get to France. So we will connect. Absolutely, we will. I just really, I honor you for having the courage to serve in the way that you serve in the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
And viewers, next week, my guest will be Alea Dow. And because I'm about to embark on a deep dive with her on the 19th of May, also in France, I want you to meet her as well and learn how you can take your own work and your own view of the world deeper in every day and in every breath. So join me next week to meet Alea Dow. And until next time, remember, people who take responsibility for their lives create the reality they desire. Ciao.